Hey everybody, Josh Rosales here along with my main man, Ashley Gaylor and Alex Okagu. Welcome to the Break Thru U podcast. We are here to talk to people that are changing the world, changing their community, breaking through your mindset. Majority of the time, it is our mindset that keeps us back, that holds us back from accomplishing our goals and our dreams and our visions. A lot of times we have a dream, but we never accomplish it because we never want to put in the W-O-R-K. How do you spell success? W-O-R-K. You got to put the work in. You got to embrace the process. You got to love the pain. And it makes you a lot better. And so I am super excited. We are super excited to have Dani with Dani D Fitness. And Dani, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to come on and talk with us. I know that Ashley has a personal relationship with you. I'm eager to hear some stories. You've had some major successes. You got more successes coming up. Your deal with Smoothie King. I was watching that, listening to your podcast, a few of your podcasts yesterday with Trent Denson. Love Trent Denson. Spread the positive. Amazing. Trent Denson has spread the positive. But without any further ado, Ashley, let's so one thing that I'll let you lead into this, Ashley. I want to see this tire flip.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the tire flip, Ashley.
Me? Oh, you want to talk about my story where I tried to pick it up?
The tire flip.
Okay. So I walked into Danis gym a couple years ago. She trained me a few times, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I work out every day. You know, I believe in being healthy and fit. But you know, and she is incredible. She expects so much from you for you not to give up on yourself. You know, that was the number one thing that she always talked about, and incredible. And then she had that video of the tire flip, and I saw the tire in the gym, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go do that same thing. I couldn't even get it off the ground. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how she did that. And so that is my experience with the tire flip. So, you know, and it's just incredible. And, you know, she had, and she's very open. She's such a terrific person. She cares about her clients. She is so open about her past. Like, she had an injury that she overcame. You're talking about persevering, fighting through it over your, get it out of your mind that my body is going to, my mind is going to tell my body what to do the opposite way. And she's living proof of that. So it's just so great to know her and be in her circles and just talk about everything that she's been able to accomplish. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Such a strong, positive person to have in our community.
Okay, Dani, here we go. Here we go. So this is the infamous video.
So Dani, what is going through your mind right now when you're in this position, getting this tire up?
I shake my head because I'm like, man, I can't get it up. Like I literally was so frustrated because, like, here's the thing. We had all practiced with that tire right beforehand, and I watched 30 girls, heavier than me, lighter than me, whatever, couldn't budge it. All right. One girl kind of got it a little bit up, and then like that was it. So I went under it, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And I just had regular tennis shoes on. And I said, okay, I get under it. I can't budge it. And I'm like, I know I can at least budge this tire. So just because I practiced with like a 400-pound tire, multiple flips and things like that leading up to this, because you always want to practice volume with lighter weight, you know, versus always continually maxing out all the time. So for me, I was like, I know I can do this. So I had like 20 minutes left before we had to go do it. And all the girls are already going, they can't do it. And I put on my Under Armour cleats, which I had never worn before, by the way. I think I wore them one time to pull a truck, and I put them on. And I was like, okay, all right, I got a little bit better grip. I know I got this. So when I get it up, it was just like, man, it felt, because you got to understand, I'd already done with 325-pound back squat, like 16 reps. I'd already done a yoke carry that was like 400 pounds. I think. Wow. I'd already done a sled pull, like 200-pound sandbag carry. I mean, this was the last event. There's 5 events at a strongman competition. This is the last one. So in my mind, what happens is if I didn't do this, and it was me and this girl, it was really, really between us. It was like, she would win one, I'd win one. She'd win one, I'd win one. So it really came down to, we're tied and it's up to the tire flip. So in my mind, I'm like, I got to end this now, because what would have happened if I couldn't have done it and no competitor would have done it, we would have gone to a lighter weight tire flip, and we would have had to do it for reps, and we would have had to like go and go all the way down 60 feet, turn back around. And I was like, I'm done. I want my cider. I want my food. I am ready. Like, that was kind of the whole thing right there, was that I just want to be like ready and done with this competition. I got this. And also, I had prepped for this. I had worked hard. I put all that in. So for me, I'm like, I can do it. But anyway, it was really great being there as a sponsor, being there and knowing and having people that I love get to come to a competition. And so what you see in the background, the video is, everyone just watched, all these women not be able to lift up in the tire. They watched like a failure after failure after failure. So when they look at me, there almost was this expectation of, there's no way she's going to get it. Like everyone else couldn't get it. Right. So it was already kind of like how my whole story has been in my life, of they expected, maybe because I looked a certain way back in the day, when and they expected me to not be athletic, or expected me because my size to not overcome things or not be, who I am or whatever. Right. And all these false ideals that people were always putting in my ear all the time, telling me I need to be better, or I need to do things differently, or I shouldn't eat so much, or, whatever. And so it was one of those moments of like, I'm like, I bet, and I don't know why it came in my mind like at that moment, but I was like, actually, I know why it came in my mind. So that video, what you're watching is the last half of the video. We had 1 minute to do this. And what happened was I went up and the tire slid to the left. So like, this is after it's been edited. Cause when I put it on TikTok, this is like the last half of it, cause I wanted to be a shorter video. But anyway, when I lifted, the tire fell to the left, people walked away. People literally that were watching me turned away. So you can kind of see people came back into the frame and whatever, for when I got like, I kind of shook it off and was like, I'm going back again. And so when I went up that next time, I was like, I know I can do this. See, I got settled into it more. My hips, heads on the tire. So it's a deadlift into a squat into basically right here was like, man, I gotta press this off of me. And that's why I shook my head like, oh, it's going to hurt kind of thing. And then I used my hip to get it all the way up and through. And so anyway, and you just see people were like, oh my gosh, get so excited. But literally people had walked away, and I kind of smugged. I kind of like got angry about it. Of like my whole life, it's always kind of seemed as if people were there during the good times. Right. But when it was the struggle, when it was me being on diets, when it was me being whatever, it was very far few in between that understood or could relate to me. And it always felt very isolating. So even though I had all those people around me, and even people that were cheering and people, whatever, in my mind, all that I could think of was like, I know they think I can't get this tire up.
That was your fuel.
It was. And there's been times where I've had positive lifts where it was not like a negative thing at all. It was just one of those where like, I felt like, man, all these women came out here that were also very strong, and that people are looking at them as if they can't do this. And so it almost was like put on my shoulders, like, okay, let me go put the cleats on. Let me go do this. I'm going to represent all these women here, and we're going to get this done. And
you were representing the Predators too.
I know that. I know those are Barbell Voodoo shorts. And so
from Roy,
he goes to compete in that day.
That is incredible.
That is such an incredible story about the tire flip. And not just the tire flip itself is a feat, but just everything that was going through your mind and all the emotion that accumulated to that point, right? To be able to do that. So it's just an amazing accomplishment. So proud about that. So proud of you for that. It's just an amazing accomplishment. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, Dani. So share with us some of the struggles, some of the things, some of the circumstances, and what you've had to go through to get to where you are today. I mean, you got your own brand, Dani D Fitness. You have your was it supplement, your own pre-workout. Like you got, I mean, you have come a long way. And I know that this has not just been easy. I mean, there's been lessons that you've learned. There's been mistakes that's happened, and you learn from the mistakes. And just the whole journey to get to this point, adversities that you have to overcome. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So really the main struggle was that I truly, I was a competitive dancer. I danced at the age of 3 years old. I took every
Is that
class.
hip hop?
I did ballet, tap,
Oh,
jazz,
wow. Okay.
hip hop. I took every class possible. I did tumbling as well. I danced pretty much every day, or tumbled, like flipped. So I did back handsprings, aerials, all those things. And did that. And I was very scheduled, very organized, like, like movement oriented from a young age. Like that was what we did. Right. And I loved it. What I did not love was that when I had a health issue, so I had a stomach issue, ended up like putting on some weight because of the medication I was taking. And I gained a significant amount of weight right at that pivotal time, about like puberty for me, like around 14 years old kind of thing. I had just, switched from private school to public school, lots of changes going on, whatever. And I didn't realize, like, I loved myself, how I looked. I wore crop tops. I wore whatever I wanted. My parents dressed me really well. I felt really good in my body. And then when I gained weight, I didn't really notice or really care. I had my friends. I did whatever. It wasn't until people started telling me it was a problem that it became a problem. Right. And it was almost like they were like, how could you not be aware of this? Or like, people would more so want to date you if you lost some weight, and things like this at a very young age. And so there's a lot of pressure put on me. And it was one of those where I was like, I just want to dance. I just want to like love myself throughout and do what I want to do. Right. Well, I get into this dance college, but I'm 17 years old. So my parents are like, no, you can go to UT or MTSU. So I'm like, all right. So I ended up going to UT Knoxville. I was like, I'm giving up dance. It's my dream, like whatever, and all this stuff. And I got injured around the time I put on weight. So not only did I put on weight, but I got injured as well. So I still was dancing, but not as full out. And I got a personal trainer who helped me with my strength and like with getting my core stronger. And then that helped. And I ate a little better and whatever. Right. But my weight's just fluctuating back and forth because I'm not really learning like what I should be doing. And so anyway, so when I get to college, I basically joined a sorority, and I'm just like partying and I stepped foot in the gym one time, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, I don't want to be here. Everyone looks super cute. I look like I'm wearing sweatpants and this weird tank top that's 3 sizes too big because that's the style and that's the trend. And I don't feel comfortable. And I feel like a lot of people and a lot of women especially go to college and feel the same way. They don't know where they fit. They don't know where they belong. They were athletes, or they were, they had a structure. They had everything in place when they, were younger. And then there's a flip of a switch, you're just on your own and you got to figure it out. And so I felt very isolated. And it wasn't until my sophomore year that I became a group fitness instructor. And the only reason I went to audition to be a group fitness instructor was because at that gym, there was a private studio where group fitness classes happen. And I believed that I could work out back there versus because I would be an instructor. So I'd have the keys so that I would have to work out around other people. That's why I did that. So then I'm starting teaching classes for the sorority. I'm teaching classes for like all over, and I'm doing all these things, making up these cool classes like Killer Core, my lower body blast, upper body blast, all these classes that have now been seen in Shape Magazine, Move Fit, my body positive format. Like I was doing it back then as well. So, I'm doing all these things and now to better myself. And then I'm learning about the food and everything like that. But all the way up until this point, I was put on diet after diet after diet. And, and like I said, people were in my ear all the time. So it wasn't until I finally decided right before I became a group fitness instructor, I basically told everyone to leave me alone. Don't bring up my weight. Don't talk to me about my weight. Don't talk to me about my food. Don't talk to me about this. It was just like so critical all the times. I couldn't sip this water without somebody wondering like, oh, you probably don't drink a lot of water, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So after you hear this over and over and over again, you're just like, man, like, I just need everyone to let me be. So basically when I said that, kind of blew up a little bit on that, I then was like, it took me about 6 months after that to finally, like, I was sitting on my couch at school and at UT, and I was eating what was I eating? I was eating like it's a calzone or something. I don't know, like a medium pizza, like calzone. I don't know. It's like 9:00 on a Tuesday. And I was like, yeah, this isn't me. Like, this isn't me. This isn't what I am most capable of, And so anyway, so basically I get that job teaching classes at $9 an hour, teaching like 4 classes a day, all over, UT. And that was my first, like, I wouldn't say that was my first job. I also worked at a sub shop when I was a freshman in college, which is not healthy for me because I'm drinking soda, eating the subs all day long. But so sophomore year, that's when it all flipped the switch, because I decided that I wanted it, not anyone else.
And how many people at that instance, they come to a fork in the road, and everybody comes to a fork in the road in their life where they allow what other people say to them to affect them to where they become what others think of them, versus those that say, no, I will not become what others think of me. And I think when you were talking about society as a whole wants to take you and mold you and like force you and just like compress you into what society wants. And you have to be able to just say, no, I'm my own person. I'm going to do my own thing. And so many people fall victim to that, Dani.
Yeah, I know. And I see it every day, because now with the brand, with me training clients, men, male, female, I got, kids, I got older, younger. I mean, everybody, like all different body shapes and sizes. And it's just one of those things where I just try to instill in them, and Ashley kind of touched on this earlier about the accountability, the love for yourself, the drive, the fight for what you want. All of these things are implemented from experience and from what I went through. And I'm trying to help no one else to ever have to feel how I felt. You see what I'm saying? Through this journey, super alone, like no one believes in you. Oh, that's good for you. You work out, that's nice. Or, you're at a family dinner and you are a larger body and you're eating pizza and everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. But again, you know what I mean? And so it's so judgmental, so critical, so ever. And so again, it's just trying to find them to like help them to form the language, form the positivity, like find that to where they can stand up for themselves and not defend themselves. There's no need to defend it, but to simply say, like how I told, my people and my friends at the time, hey, I know you're trying to help. I know whatever, is going through your head. And maybe this is coming from an insecurity with you or what, I don't know. Right. Maybe you think my life would be easier if I weighed less or, whatever. But at the end of the day, this is my journey. This is my thing. And if I want to go pursue it, I'm going to pursue it. If not, like, again, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want it to be brought up all the time, kind of thing. So it's just a simple conversation, but it's a hard conversation. And I do believe that people were trying to help, but the help was not wanted or not needed. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's one of your, I may be mistaken, but your concept is, is what we all should do, because we only get one of them, right? Love your body, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Love your body.
Exactly. Yep.
It's the only one we're ever going to have. We can't change that. And that's what's so incredible about your mindset and the way you've run your business. You don't have those eyes on you there. Those people, you're like, hey, you come in, I'm going to help you however you want to be helped, but I am not going to judge you because you love your body. And that's what it's all about, is loving your body, and you do you. So.
Yes. And that's why I try to create a safe space for my people, no matter if we're at a Move Fit event and we're down at 5th and Broadway, dancing, or we're doing a personal training session at Next Level, or whatever. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like, they know it's a safe space when they're with me. They don't have the judgment that they may have in a regular gym, or they may not have the judgment that they might have if they just go, on a run or whatever, right? They feel protected. They feel that safety net, because for me, it's like, how nice to create a space where you could just breathe, because you may not have that when you're back home with your significant other. You may not have that when you're taking care of your kids. You may not have that when you're at your job. You may not have that anywhere else. So it's been a privilege to be able to open that up and have that safe space for my people. And anyone knows that. Anyone that wears a shirt, that wears a band, that, you know, any of that, they know that they're welcome, you know, and they support and they share my stories and whatever, like that. They will get that if they ask for it. They'll get that accountability. They'll get that that positive mindset from me, but they'll learn it for themselves as well.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know, it's people, you know, folks maybe haven't been to the gym that many times, or maybe people don't go because of the experience you had, you know. And then on like on a man's end, same thing. Like I would never walk in. I walked into one iron pit my whole life, and I was just like, what's this guy doing in here? You know what I mean? Like a true iron pit gym. And, you know, with the guys with the, you know, we all know the guys we're talking about. They're just at the flat bench, and that's all they're in there to do, you know. And then, but you feel like you're being judged as well when you're in there for other reasons, male, you know. So that's, you know, there's a lot of that goes on out there.
And that's where too, it's like, and I want everyone to take from this that like, it's not about the negativity in terms of like, oh, let's like what I want people to understand is that it does not matter even if you are going to these gyms or if you're doing whatever, it doesn't matter what you look like. It does not matter your size. It does not matter if your hair is done, if your makeup's on, if you're wearing glasses, you're not wearing glasses. Like none of that matters. Like take that, like what I'm trying to help build them is like by coming to Dani Fitness and having that safety net is that when they go to these gyms, when they go on their own, they have the tools and they are equipped to be able to handle situations and handle that and not project either their own insecurities onto other people as well. You know what I'm saying? So, and that is where like, we're trying to change the mindset. So that's why people are like, oh, you're a trainer. I'm like, I don't consider myself a personal trainer. Like, yes, I am a certified personal trainer, but like I own my own business. And when you talk about Dani Fitness, it's good movement, good fuel, positivity. And without those, one of those three things, you can't have all together. Like when I very first started my journey, I was all into movement. I'm doing classes every day. I'm working out. I mean, I'm doing like 5 hours of movement every day. I didn't see the scale change at all. My body fat didn't go down. Nothing changed. Why? Because I'm still sitting here eating nonsense or very few times a day and, you know, and drinking soda all the time. So I didn't have the good nutrition part of it. Right. And then on top of that, I was negative about like how I looked. I compared myself to other people because they kept telling me that I needed to compare myself to them, you know? And so it was one of those things where it's like, when I finally quieted and let the nonsense and stopped the nonsense, I was able to be free and able to do what I want to do. So now when I go into a gym, when I go into somewhere, I wear what I want to wear. I do what I want to do. If I have makeup on, cool. If I don't have makeup on, awesome. If I got spray tan, but like, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you should be so focused when you're in the gym. You should be so focused on working on yourself and fighting for what you want that you shouldn't have time to look at me or to care what I'm doing or, you know what I mean? Good or bad. It really like, it shouldn't, nothing that someone says or something that someone like does or whatever should depict how you feel. And I know it's so hard to do because some of us, it's like, again, until you learn that tougher skin, until you have been so many experiences, like it's very challenging. And I will say with the tire flip, I mean, that the tire flip went viral on ESPN, Shape, Sports Center, Reddit, World Star, a bunch of different places, right? But different platforms. There was probably 100, let's just say 100,000 comments, okay? 100,000 comments that were solely about my backside and how it didn't look like it should look, or that it wasn't a good enough booty, or it was too big, or it was, okay? So I do something that is incredible, that is a feat of strength, that, and also look beautiful doing it and look strong. And yet it still was like that, right? Okay. Yep. When we were on the podcast with Trent to talk about all this like hype and all the millions of views and everything, you know, Blake asked me, Blake's my lead trainer for Dani Fitness, and he was like, Dani, like, do you take to heart like those negative comments? And I was like, of course not. I have like 10 million views so far, like on my platform, let alone all these other platforms that are talking about this tire flip, that this is such a bigger picture than like, oh, some people said some negative things about my backside when they've been saying it my whole life. So for me, like, you see what I'm saying? Like for me, I've had that. I've had people say it to my face. I've had people verbally abuse me, body shame me. So it was one of those moments where I'm like, literally all those moments that were like so hard growing up and it would deter me from going out with friends and deter me from going on dates and like would make me cry. Like I would cry all the time, right? Growing up, that led me to be prepared for this moment. Because if I wasn't as strong as I was, I could have, there's so many things like, think about that. Think about you're a young, if you have daughters or someone that you know or someone that you love or whatever, if she went viral on something and felt so positive about it and then had over 100,000 comments that her backside wasn't like attractive or it was too much or she's a she man or maybe she's a man or like do you understand, like that could lead to suicide, that could lead to binge eating, that could lead to body dysmorphia, that could lead to anorexia. There's so many things that people's words, they don't understand that could have led someone off the cliff, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm always of the belief, heard it said, you can't have raging fans without raging enemies, and you would not have raging fans. You got to have, like, raging enemies is like a ingredient to having raging fans. Like you can't have just raging fans, you just can't have everybody like you. So it's like you got to take, and you did just incredible mindset that you have, Dani, with say, you know what, it is, just the reality is people are gonna body shame, people are going to have negativity, people are going to say whatever. However, let's look at the positive side. You got all these people cheering you on, like you've created something, you've grown from it, you've created so much, and it's helped you elevate your brand and give you more of a kind of that stamp of like, yeah, you're coming to work with me, and this is, they already know your accolades of what you've done. Yeah. So if you don't mind, let me ask you this. So on your website, you have you offer online training. My question is, the online training, and did this come about during the pandemic, or have you always had online training?
I've done online training before, but I never did virtual sessions like one-on-one or like virtual groups. But what happened was when the pandemic hit, I was still at my parents' house. I was waiting for the influencership at Connect Nashville, which is where I live now, for that to go through. And it got extended because of the pandemic. So I basically, because my gym closed, I was like, it's a personal training studio. And they were like, we just have to close for a couple months, just see what it is. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give everyone a discount, huge discount. Here are the classes I'm offering. Here's some virtual sessions, one-on-one, because you don't feel comfortable being in a group class, right? Then that's totally fine. And so that's what we did. I created a whole new structure, whole new plan. And it really was great. I really enjoyed it. And my people were there for me, and I actually got clients during that. We went on the news for that, actually talking about the whole online training during pandemic, how people wanted to get healthier instead of just sitting around the whole time locked in their house.
A lot of times during the pandemic, you find that, of course, businesses have closed. A lot of businesses closed. A lot of gyms closed. People lost their jobs. But what I found out, and what I thought was so incredible is that a lot of individuals that had either they had a hobby or they had something that they did, they made a little money on the side, that really took it metamorphosed into this full-time job where they were thinking outside of the box. And I think a lot of during the pandemic, one of the positives is that it allowed business owners to think outside of the box, because it's like, how am I going to think outside this box to create additional services or to, my business plan? You always got to check it. And I think that even with your business, Dani, it's like, you always got to be looking at business plan. It's pre-pandemic, pandemic, post-pandemic. Is like, okay, if I keep doing the same thing, people are probably going to get bored. How do I keep innovating and being better and offering more and getting on the cutting edge? Is that something that you're having to experience on a daily basis or weekly basis?
Oh yeah. I'm always like I joke about it with people, but if you ask anyone, they're going to tell you I'm always working. Like there's really not a time. And I would rather live my life that way anyway. I know people like, oh, like, don't you want to go on a bunch of trips and stuff like that? It's like, yeah, I mean, I'll go on a trip here and there, but like I have a mission and I'm trying to build, an empire. And so it's one of those things that is taken seriously, that is seen as something worthy, because again, loving yourself, you can kind of be like, oh yeah, like love your body. It's like, if you're someone who's never been able to look in the mirror or never been able to look at yourself, and I got to that point, to say that you love your body genuinely, like, is incredible. I mean, it's like someone just gave you $1 million, because you're in your body all the time. You're walking around, everything from the choices you wear to what you do. It's just crazy. So it really is trying to showcase to people by doing initiatives like the Love Your Body. We put the Love Your Body, billboard essentially on the Nashville sign. So we put that graphic out there, which is me in very little clothing. I mean, there was a thong and a bandeau, and to do that, to showcase, because it's like, when have you seen, when think about it, like think about TV, think about whatever, not trash TV and like whatever, but like think about commercials that come on. Do you ever see a athletic like type of movement like that, like the dance jump, from a not like specific type of body? And so what I thought was, does Nashville even see that? Because what I was seeing on that Nashville sign was like girls in bikinis, and like all these other things, right? I never saw any type of body that looked like mine, let alone doing something really cool like a dance jump. You know what I'm saying? And then having big, bold words of saying, love your body. Like it was just a simple thing, but it was like oh my gosh, let's do this. No one's done it yet. So I love to continually pioneer things and be the first part, like to do Move Fit down on 5th and Broadway. That was the first fitness class that they've ever had down there. And to do Move Fit at Bonnaroo, and to do just everything that I've tried to continually think of. I know it's not reinventing the wheel essentially, but it is finding ways and connecting different people and connecting different groups, so that we feel like, I feel like with my business, that it's something impactful and something exciting. And that's why when people see Move Fit, which is my body positive dance format, they literally are like, this is different. Like, oh, we get it now. And that just happened to me when we did the last one. The girls were like, this was like, they were like speechless. They're like, we didn't expect this. Like, we thought it was a workout, like, whatever. I'm like, no, this is an event. Like, this is a experience that I want people to come back and always remember. So that's the value that I bring to like businesses. And that's the value that I bring to women entrepreneurs, and to setting the standard of strong and sexy, and getting us out of these stereotypes and of what you have to be to equal this, to equal that.
Yeah.
So go for it.
One
Go for it,
listening
Ashley.
has never seen fit classes or out and about anywhere. Let me tell you, it's so fun and incredible. Everybody is, I mean, it's like, it's not really, you're having a good time, and then you realize 1,000 calories. I mean,
yeah, it is. And that's why I try to explain to people that Move Fit is a strong, sexy, athletic dance format. And that like, it is something where it's basically like my initiative. Like if it could be a nonprofit in itself, I would love that, because I believe in it that much that I would love for like Nashville or the city or whoever to fund that, so that it be body positive events happening every month. You know what I mean? And I put up that, like, I do that. I plan it. I get the sponsors. I get Trent out there to do a live podcast. I get Roy to, come out and help give us the booty shorts. Like, I mean, I do all these different things to connect and like promote their brands and all these different things, so that way, like it's their opportunity to get to a chance to love themselves more, and not really have an excuse to not come do that. Right. Because someone could say, oh, I don't really want to work with a trainer, it's too expensive. Okay, come to a Move Fit event. It's $10 or it's $20 and you get a mimosa after, you know what I'm saying? And a free workout. Like, and it's on Broadway. And it's in this really cool studio, luxurious space that Danny found. And it's the first fitness pop-up ever there. Right. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I really do wish that there was more type of like funding for that. Cause think about the opportunity with like young girls and and just women in general. And even men that love to do move fit as well. Like, and like, it's just, there's an opportunity for it for sure. And I hope, and I am trying to encourage people that, they're spreading the message and stuff like that, that it's getting out there. So people are starting to acknowledge that.
Sweet. So let me ask you this, Danny. It seems like you're very just self-motivated, but how do you keep yourself, what are some of your favorite, maybe audiobooks or books or podcasts, resources that you listen to? How do you pour into yourself? Because I know, you got to pour into yourself before you can pour into others. And how do you keep yourself pumped without, naturally you're just, you do it on your own because you're just like everything that you've been through, but on a daily basis, like what's your routine? Get up in the morning, you spend a few minutes, like maybe meditation or like how do you keep yourself, like how do you pour into yourself on a daily basis?
Yeah. So it honestly depends on what day, what season of time we're in, all of that. Right. So I get more out of life when I have things going on, like with the partnership with Smoothie King. Right. And stuff like that. Like and with the tire flip and whatever, like that brings my creativity out. That makes me excited about life. That keeps me positive. It keeps me going. It just keeps me just focused. It is for me, I really lean into like my Bible study that I do. I try to be intentional about that because everything goes better when I do that first. I spend time with my family, my mom and my dad a lot here lately, and make the time for them. Even though it could be a lot to come back to Murfreesboro. I'm going there today, but like to go to Murfreesboro and like come back to Nashville and whatever. But I'm really trying to be intentional about that because that time together is special and it puts it in perspective for me. When I'm constantly working all the time, to kind of have that downtime with them, just sit, watch a movie or sit and chill or, whatever. But really,
are you opening any fitness centers here in Murfreesboro?
No, I'm not as of now, but you never know. You never know what can happen. So it's just and I love the borough. I have a special place in my heart for it, and love to watch it grow. But yeah, at the end of the day, because of my injury and stuff, I had to learn to go on walks. So I'll go on walks. I'll sometimes go to the park. That helps me to decompress. Going on the podcast and even going on like other people's podcasts, like this helps me, keeps me excited, keeps me moving forward. Networking events, stuff like that. Like a lot of times people look at all this as like, oh, this is work or whatever. Like this is the fun part. I've spoke to kids, through an initiative with like the Brooklyn Nets and, and I've done all these really cool things and public speaking stuff. Like I would love to do more of that all the time, every day, so those things to me are just fun. And they help me feel excited and feel energized. But yeah, I also think that if someone is looking for something to do, really, like people ask me this all the time, like, oh, you must read all these books and audiobooks and whatever. I hate that. Like, I honestly, no. And I probably should more, but for me, learning from other people that I can relate to or that I look up to is so much more rewarding to me. And then also, I'll listen to podcasts and things like that and kind of take some time and step back to that while I clean. That's always a good thing, but I don't know. I just am kind of a different type of breed when it comes to that. Like, and with the meditation, it's hard for me to meditate because I'm always going.
Yeah.
But I do have things like therapy that I do, or like, a couple other things that like, it sets me on that. And so I have that included in my regimen.
What do you tell other entrepreneurs that, we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, some of them just starting, some of them, you know, in different parts of the process. What's your encouragement and advice to entrepreneurs that are just starting their business and they're going through challenges, whether it's marketing or whether it's networking and connecting and growing their business, and they're putting in the time, and sometimes it just feels like they're not getting the traction, they feel like giving up, and it's just like you got to keep going. Like what is your advice to them?
Yeah, I mean, that's even advice I tell to myself every day. Because I have people that let me down, or people that, you know, or that say one thing or me another, you know, it happens all the time. Like you cannot let it affect you personally. Right. So that's where, with everything I was saying before, like with the comments or this or that, if you sit and let other people care or like their opinions of you matter to you, then you're never going to fully see your business through. You're never going to see the potential of what it could be. It's going to be the bare minimum always, because you just like, you know, someone tells you you're doing a good job, and then you kind of stay at that level. You're like, oh, I'm doing a good job. Okay, I don't have to work any harder, right? And it's like, you know, that person could just be saying that to say that. The person could mean well, but like you can't let that ceiling be right here. Like you have to not even have a ceiling yourself. Like, and that's my biggest thing is like, I've never felt like I have a ceiling. I feel like the possibilities are endless, because I'm not afraid also of someone telling me no. So to me, I look at it as like, okay, I got to pivot. That wouldn't have worked out anyway. Cool. Got it. You know, like, I mean, I reached out to Shape Magazine via Instagram when I left the resort that I worked at as an intern in Vermont. And I reached out to them in 2017 and was like, hey guys, I am in Nashville and I am training clients. I did, you know, all the stuff over. And I was like, you know how I read this message? You know how I know what I said? Because I just took over their Shape account and ran their Shape Magazine account when I did my Love Your Body Blast, Upper Body Blast, Killer Core, and was on their feed in front of millions of people. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally went and found my name in there and saw the message I sent in 2017. And this was last, I guess when it was, like last year sometime when I did the whole Shape Squad and I became their first Shape Squad instructor for Nashville. So it's one of those full circle moments of looking at it like I was not afraid to reach out to big companies, and I want to be on Good Morning America. You know, I want to go on Survivor. I have no problem like auditioning and trying out. I tried out for the NBC Titan Games. Like, I don't feel like there's any reason that I should not be seen as a contestant or seen as a participant or seen as valid. And that was in 2017 before any of this happened. So it's not like, oh, my video went viral and I got really confident and then like I reached out to brands. I've been doing it since day one. It's just that I mean, and literally they never read the message. That Shape Magazine has literally thousands of messages in their inbox that no one has ever checked. It drove me crazy when I took over the Instagram. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they have 1 million followers. So it's like, duh. But I just thought, oh, they personally didn't see me. But I was like, whatever. One day they're going to see me.